Konnichiwa, minasan. I'm Lori Sagawa, and I have a special guest for you today. We have Stephanie Tyler, is an author, certified Ikigai life coach, speaker, and trauma survivor who helps people rediscover their purpose through the practice of gratitude. After more than 2 decades in the hospitality industry, she transformed her own healing journey into a mission to help others move beyond survival mode and then build a life rooted in meaning, resilience, and joy. She's the author of The Art of Gratitude, Daily Practices to Rebuild Joy After Trauma, and believes that gratitude is not the destination, it is the doorway to Ikigai. Through practical neurodivergent friendly strategies and compassionate storytelling, Stephanie empowers others to reconnect their values, recognize their own purpose, and create lasting, meaningful change one small step at a time. So please help me welcome to the stage Stephanie. Welcome to the Ikigai podcast.
I'm so happy to be here, Lori. Thank you.
And for those that don't know you, I gave you a bit of your introduction. If you could just give us a short synopsis of where you went and how you got to where you are now.
So I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area. I still reside in the San Francisco Bay Area. Um, Only child with two stepsisters. My mom divorced when I was 6. I come from a dysfunctional family with my father being an alcoholic. And through my early childhood, I was experienced abuse through my biological father, um, and then but I survived.
Yeah.
I went through, survived that, um, and I was always a very creative and athletic child too. So I was always involved in sports and athletics, but my true passion was swimming.
Mm.
And they started me off swimming at a very early age. So I was a competitive swimmer from youth all the way through college. And when I was 17, I graduated high school early. So when I went into college, I was very young at 17 and joined the college swim team and club team. And there I experienced coaching abuse. Um, which was very traumatic, of course. Uh, so, through a period from early childhood all the way up to my teens, um, my life had been filled with abuse, sadly enough. And it affected the way I approach friendships um, and relationships. And I came to a point in my life where I knew it I had to heal.
And can you share with us about your healing? That's the exciting part is that all that stuff, it happened, but you can't stay there. You have to move forward. So please share about your
Yeah.
journey going forward.
So healing began through in my early 20s, recovery from an eating disorder that I developed during my swimming era. Um, I found a very good therapist. We worked with um, going back and shadow work, and that helped me progress forward, being mindful and mindfulness. So she gave me the the building blocks
Oh,
towards my healing.
uh-huh,
Okay.
uh-huh.
So, and doing a lot of shadow work through myself over the years and identifying things and being mindful of my actions. And it takes great practice to do that. And it takes time and it's not instant. But
Yes.
yeah, it's a challenge and you have to commit to yourself
Uh-huh.
to be able to do that. Um, as I got became older, there came a time and a point in my life where I found myself unemployed and searching for jobs and wondering why things were now not working for me. And I yelled to the universe, help me, show me, show me. And the answer came back to me pretty quickly of gratitude.
Mm. And you also shared about how gratitude is a doorway to Ikigai. I think that's a beautiful thing, and
Yes.
about your how you found Ikigai and how you found
Yes.
your the way to help others.
So, Ikigai, of course, is not a Venn diagram. Ikigai is not a career formula. And that was, I had read about it a long time ago, and it just didn't sit right with the Western approach to it. But the philosophy of Ikigai, of finding your joy, and that's where the gratitude came in. It all started clicking together of doing my shadow work, being mindful. Mindfulness leads to gratitude because then you start noticing things around you. And noticing and being grateful for the small little things, like a cup of coffee on a day, that becomes your ikigai on a daily basis and your joy and reason for being. Your reason for being is not the Western sense of finding a job or a career formula or a Venn diagram. It's slowly starting to notice your values
Mhm.
and getting to know yourself and healing even more.
That's the more Japanese way. And I was the same way. Was introduced to the Venn diagram, but it's like something didn't click. Being Japanese is like, not sure about this. So they say when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Yes, very much so. And it gives you a reason to engage. Gratitude gives you a reason to engage with life. You start noticing small little things and you begin engaging more. Um, and you start finding joy in just ordinary moments. It's not some big, profound thing where it's going to hit you and the side and go, now you're happy. You have to find your own happiness,
That's
and
right.
you're responsible for your own healing.
Hmm. And I started reading your book, Stephanie, and you shared about your first ikigai and going through that process. Could you do that from the very beginning and how it led you to bigger things, shall we say?
So I started off with art, and I when I started again, I said to myself, who would I have been if all this trauma hadn't happened? Who was I? What did I love as a child? I went
Hmm.
back to that very starting point. Well, I love being organized, and that's the slight ADHD in me. I loved art. I loved organizing my crayons in color order, in the spectrum order. Um, I loved athletics. So I identified all the things that I loved to do and things that I had allowed to be buried because of the trauma. And I was determined to not to go back to my passions. So when I discovered Ikigai, it was okay, I love to paint. So I am going to take joy in painting now. But then it went deeper. What style of painting do I like to do? Well, that's watercolor. And how does that make me feel? And that's the philosophy with Ikigai is it brings up those feelings of joy and what makes you feel whole as a person and how you can contribute to society and share.
Well, that's beautiful. And you've taken other people through this journey similar to you. Are most people trauma victims that come to you?
No, no.
No. Okay.
Um, yeah, it's a variety of
Mhm.
people that are transitioning out of careers into retirement that have lost their sense of who they are because once I came out of my career of being in upper management, I had identified myself solely by my title, um, with my career. So, and I find when people introduce themselves, everybody says, "Well, what do you do?" That's the first question, right? Is what do you do? Well, not who are you as a person, but what do you do? And everybody always answers with their job title. And some people are very timid and hesitant because they don't feel like their career would stand up to other people's careers.
Uh-huh.
And that I attempt to walk people through the mindset of your career does not define you.
Yes.
You define yourself.
Mhm.
And then we work on an elevator pitch of, now that you're coming out of retirement, how are you going to introduce yourself? Well, you're not going to introduce yourself by your job title, right?
Right, right,
So let's try to work on who you are.
right.
And that's how you're going to introduce, and you're not going to introduce yourself as retired. You can include that eventually, but you're going to share, oh, I am somebody who loves my grandchildren and I enjoy classic cars and tinkering and the engineering. And we work on a small elevator pitch, less than a minute.
Uh-huh.
And through that process, people begin to identify who their true selves are and not defined by mom, dad, job title, retiree, but um, an empathetic, compassionate person who enjoys X, Y, and Z. And it's a fingerprint. Like you said, we are all individual fingerprints. We're all different and unique. And no one should hold the same description of everybody. There's 1,000 branch managers out there. Right? And whatever job that's out there. I was a branch manager for, well, that doesn't tell me who you are. Tell me who you are. Tell me what you enjoy. Tell me what you love. Do you love arts? Do you love music? What type of music do you love? What's your passion? And that's what we get back to. And we find their passion again as they're transitioning into a period where they finally have to face themselves, because it's pretty easy to get lost in your job
Oh, yes.
and have it consume you. And in the
Uh-huh.
hospitality industry, my day began at 5 a.m. and then my hour commute each way. And then
Wow.
being at work from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And you come home, you eat, you pass, you just collapse and you do it all over again. And then you spend your days off when you do have them in the hospitality industry. Sometimes you work 6 days a week, sometimes you work 7 days a week for stints,
Wow.
and you're on salary. You know, you are essentially married to your job, fully committed, especially in the events in this portion of it. Um, but going back, you lose your identity at some point, and all you know is your job title. And that was something I had to face also coming out, is I am not defined by my job title. Um,
Uh-huh.
I can identify myself as an organizer, a collaborator, someone who loves food and beverage and wine and has a passion for assisting others, um, and their creative process to put on wonderful events. Those are the things that I love to do. I did love to do. But now this is what I love to do. And so this is the transition of finding yourself and healing and getting to know yourself a little bit better.
Becoming whole.
Yes, becoming whole. And you can do this at any time of your life, even while you're still career minded and you have 1,000 things going on in your day. Just taking 15 seconds first thing in the morning to look for something to be grateful for can change your outlook
Yes.
the entire day.
Mm-hmm. It can. Because I was just listening to to a video, and that's exactly what he said. That when you get up and the first thing you do, that's going to set the tone for the rest of the day. If you get up and say, "Oh, my aches and pains," and I don't have enough. If you think about all your problems, that's
Hmm.
what's going to be coming back to you. But if you think about, like you say, joy and what you have to look forward to, and ask what great thing is going to happen today. Look forward to your day with anticipation rather.
Right. And gratitude is not forced. Gratitude can live um, beside pain. Absolutely. Because what I went through and is part of my story, but it's not part of my present.
Right.
And yes, portions of it did shape me, but how I navigated through it and how I approach it now through Ikigai and gratitude is it's been so refreshing,
And so much more.
and it's healthy too.
It is.
A healthy way of thinking and being grateful isn't being grateful. How do I explain this? Some people say to me, well, I am grateful. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my dog. I'm like, okay, well, let's dive a little bit deeper. And those are wonderful things to be grateful for. But then they always follow it up with something negative. So we've all met that one person, and you ask them, how are you doing? And the first thing out of their mouth is something negative, right?
Mhm.
And I've conditioned them now. I have several people I know that I do that, and they don't do it anymore. I say, well, tell me something good. Tell me something good happened to you today, right? And I don't indulge the negativity. I don't welcome it. I shift the focus from in the conversation for I empathize, but then I ask them, oh, well, tell me something good that happened to you today. And it makes them think. And now
Yeah,
I go, oh gosh, if I come to her and I say something, she's going to ask me what good happened to me today.
because you can always find something
You can,
negative to talk about, and they've said that. What is it that no matter who you are, you'll always find someone who's in a condition worse
mm,
than you. All you have to do is read Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning.
yes, yes,
You just think about that and how fortunate we are here in the United States.
yes.
Stephanie, has been wonderful speaking with you about gratitude and Ikigai and about your journey. So, is there one last comment you would like to say before we go on to the next episode?
Um, yes. Uh, Gratitude, of course, is doesn't have to be big and monumental, but it's the small things that you notice throughout the day.
Well, that's beautiful.
It's
And thank
tiny
you,
moments. Yeah.
thank you everyone for watching. And please be sure to subscribe, like, and come to the next episode because she'll be sharing the rest of her secrets with you. So until then, bye bye, matane.